RIP, empowerment, as a word, you had a good run. But you've hit peak meaninglessness, and it's time to kill you off. Empowerment has been an empty term for a while now, used to raise money for vague causes and issues, empowering women and girls, pad the pockets of the already wealthy and well-connected, hosting ubiquitous women's empowerment conferences and speaking gigs, and justify basically anything a woman feels like doing. I find doing acrobatics, getting spanked, wearing red lipstick, owning a three-legged cat empowering. But the final blow was dealt by the matron of meaninglessness herself, Kim Kardashian. Kim posted a naked selfie on Instagram. When she was criticized for it, because apparently people care, that Kim, who published an entire book of selfies, posted one without her clothes on, she fired back that posting naked selfies makes her feel empowered. Advertisement. Continue reading below. I don't do drugs. I hardly drink. I've never committed a crime, and yet I'm a bad role model for being proud of my body, Kim wrote in her response, which was also billed as a celebration of International Women's Day, and which she posted on her paid subscription-only website, so you can only read the whole thing if you're willing to pay $2.99 a month to the Kardashian West coffers. I am empowered by my body. I am empowered by my sexuality. I am empowered by feeling comfortable in my skin. I am empowered by showing the world my flaws and not being afraid of what anyone is going to say about me. And I hope that through this platform I have been given, I can encourage the same empowerment for girls and women all over the world. Empowerment is apparently not about equitable allocation of resources, or influence in politics and policy, or really power at all. It's shorthand for, I wanted to do this and it made me feel good, and in Kim's case, the addendum, plus it made me a bunch of money. Which is laudable. Feeling good is criminally underrated, and making a bunch of money sounds cool, but feeling empowered is not the same as real, actual power. Empowerment is an empty catchphrase, a term used primarily to salve over the near total lack of power held by women and girls around the world, a kind of head pat to keep us satisfied with subservience. Note that you never hear the word empowered used to describe a man. You don't need to be empowered when you are, plainly and simply, powerful. It's wonderful that Kim Kardashian feels good about her physical self. There's nothing wrong with the naked human body, and there's no question that the criticisms of Kim's nude selfie were silly and prudish. We're all naked under our clothes, and there's no shame in being naked in the public eye. Nor is there shame in being happy with your body, or in believing you're beautiful and attractive. The world would be a better place if more women felt that way. Advertisement. Continue reading below. The problem, though, is that women and girls receive the persistent message that being beautiful, sexy, and happy with your body depends on other people, men, mostly, thinking you're hot. It means being an object of sexual appeal for the visual gratification of others, not a sexual creature in your own right. It means your body is a stand-in for sex. When we say, sex sells, what we actually mean is, women's mostly naked bodies sell things. Sexualized images of women are everywhere, but the very things that would actually allow women to have sex for pleasure, easy access to contraception and abortion, sex education in which boys and men were taught that female pleasure and orgasm matter as much as their own, remain politically and socially contentious. That's the pervasive view of female sexuality in the United States. Women should be sexy and attractive to men, but it's bad, dirty, and shameful for women to actually have sex and enjoy it. Kim Kardashian's childhood friend Paris Hilton embodied, and summed up, the standard neatly when she told Rolling Stone, "My boyfriends always tell me I'm not sexual. Sexy, but not sexual, that is the naked selfie. Sexy, but not sexual, sexy but not sexual, has real, negative consequences for girls and women." A few years back, the American Psychological Association, APA, convened a task force to assess the wealth of research on sexualization of women in media and its impact on girls. In defining sexualization, they listed several components, including where a person's value comes only from his or her sexual appeal or behavior, to the exclusion of other characteristics, and where a person is held to a standard that equates physical attractiveness, narrowly defined, with being sexy. It's not hard to see how both of those criteria apply not just to Kim Kardashian's naked selfie, but to the entire reason she's a celebrity in the first place. Advertisement. Continue reading below. Advertisement. Continue reading below. When girls grow up in a culture saturated with sexualized images of women, they suffer. The APA found that girls experience real emotional and cognitive declines from sexualization, performing worse on math tests when they feel sexualized, and experiencing anxiety, shame, and self-disgust. Girls who are exposed to narrow ideals of femininity and female attractiveness are more likely to have eating disorders. Links have also been made to depression and low self-esteem. They are more likely to believe sexual stereotypes about women and think that a woman's greatest assets are her looks. And perversely, girls who self-objectify, that is, who believe that their own value or empowerment comes from their physical appearance and from being sexy, have poorer sexual health outcomes. They are less likely to be sexually assertive and report lower rates of condom usage, which means they often end up worse off health-wise even into adulthood, not to mention the attendant lack of sexual pleasure and enjoyment that comes with not being able to assert your needs, desires, and requirements for your own physical protection. These outcomes aren't just confined to girls. Those same girls grow into women, many of whom carry these issues with them through their lives. And boys and men exist in our sexualized culture too, and it frames the way they see women and girls. Some men who have been exposed to a bevy of sexualized images report finding it difficult to locate a suitably perfect partner in real life, or to fully enjoy sex with real, unairbrushed, physically flawed women. Boys and men who consume a lot of sexual